Good morning. Welcome to this edition of the Dialogue Box on Blossom Nigeria. We are so grateful to God for a beautiful life that He has given each and every one of us. And we know that wherever you are moving forward, making progress, and all that concerns you are being perfected. So this morning, we are going to be talking about how to improve the Nigerian economy, even beyond ethnic divides, beyond ethnic divisions and all the sentimental attachments that come with them. So, but before we move into that, we'd like to take some heads up of some of the news, major areas that we think we should focus on in our nation. So on Dialogue Box this morning, we have it that stakeholders in the education sector, they fixed a new date between August 3rd and September 5 as a new date for the conduct of the West African Examination Council examinations. Conduct of the West African Examination Councils. That means the WAEC exams. So for this, it was announced by the Minister of State for Education, Mr. Chukwuemeka Nwajuba. Then the federal government has announced that the Decontamination of Schools exercise against the spread of COVID-19 will begin on Tuesday, that's today, in preparation for the resumption of schools. So all schools are to work in cooperation with the federal government in actualizing this particular exercise. Then, still in the education sector, the Vice Chancellor of the University of Benin has called on the police to intensify investigation for the murders of late Miss Waila Omozua, a 100-level microbiology student of the institution. So she believes that no matter the time that has been spent, all that they require to bring the murderers to fruition or to book should be done. So she's tasking the Nigerian police to do much more in that regard. Then the Police Service Commission has dismissed 10 senior police officers and reduced the rank of 8 others over various cases of misconduct in the line of duty. So if this is done with the mindset of improving the police, as in the Police Service Commission, the Nigerian police force generally, I think, or rather we think is a good step in the right direction. So, but we hope it's not done for some other reasons beyond the right ones that should position our nation for a more effective police force. Then the former CEO, that's the Chief Executive Officer of Asset Management Corporation of Nigeria, AMCON, has been appointed as a new chairman of Fidelity Bank. That's Mr. Mustapha Chikeobi. And we see this as a very big commendation when you appoint somebody from the public service to head a bank like the Fidelity Bank in the private sector. That's a very big one. And that means that Mr. Mustapha Chikeobi, has also distinguished himself in the financial service sector. So congratulations for that. Then we also have a plus, that's a big commendation for the fight against insurgency in the northeast region. Fighter jets of the Nigerian military destroyed the major leaders in different locations in the Sambisa forest and killed scores of Boko Haram fighters. And this is coming against the backdrop of what the Air Force commander said yesterday, that the Nigerian Air Force is ready to bring an end to the Boko Haram insurgency challenge in Nigeria. And we said that we should give them all the necessary encouragement, give them the resources. The government should do everything possible to see to it that that comment comes to fruition. Then as we talk about how to improve our nation and the national economy, we have news reaching us that the Nigerian Content Intervention Fund, NCI, managed by the Bank of Industry, is to increase lending. The essence of this bank is to increase lending to qualified stakeholders in the oil and gas industry, and they have expanded their financial reach from $200 million to $350 million. And that was announced by the Minister of State for petroleum, that's Mr. Timipre Silva. Then in reference to that, we would like the federal government to work towards bringing about an end to the ongoing, the lingering kind of we call it a fracas now, or whatever it is that the National Assembly and the Minister of Labor and Productivity, they've come to a point where last week they said they were going to put on hold the exercise that was to employ 774,000 Nigerians across board between now and the month of October. So we said that no matter what matters is the interest and the welfare of the people. So that exercise should not be put on hold. And the Minister of Labor that has been asked to also come before the National Assembly for more presentations should do that with immediate effect. And that's the Chris Ngige, the Minister of Labor, and the Minister of State. Whatever the issue that has led to the disagreement between the ministry and the National Assembly, the Minister of State for Labor, that's Festus Keyamo, should also work towards resolving the issue as soon as possible in the interest of Nigerians. Then NNPC, the Nigerian National Petroleum Corporation, they've reshuffled, and some senior managers have been reassigned, and even some have been redeployed. But whatever that is, or what it is supposed to be like, we believe that this is to reposition the NNPC for more effective production, and also to see to it that more is coming from this huge federal institution. Then as we work on giving ourselves a boost as a nation for all that we are doing in the COVID-19 challenge, we also bring to mind the fact that the numbers are still on the increase. So despite the increasing numbers, we still have some very good news that a lot of people are also recovering from the scourge. So wherever they are, even in Cross River State right now, the federal government has sent personnel to help in curbing and containing the recent numbers of about 5 people that have been discovered in the state to have been infected with the virus. So more should be done so that Cross River State will not become prone to more infections from the COVID-19. And that means that all that needs to be done should be done with the right motives, nothing else. And like we have been saying, spread hope, don't spread the fear pandemic. Then a suspected fraudster, that's Raymond Abbas, also known as Hush Puppy, that has been arrested. This very, very popular Nigerian who, according to many, has been very popular for his social media. He's very loud on social media, and he has been a major fraudster that has defrauded most companies, organizations, and individuals of millions of dollars. Has finally been arrested, but now is under the custody of the Dubai government that has been extradited to the US, that's the United States. And even though Nigeria is trying to have a custody of this man, we believe that the international law should be allowed to have its full course. So all that needs to be done to bring this man to book as a way of also restraining many others that may have been towing his steps should be done. So Nigeria should allow the law to rather take its full course. Then coming to our discussion this morning, we have been looking into the issue of positioning our nation for stronger results in every area. Yesterday, we talked about how, as a nation, on a day like July 6 in 1967, the nation went into a civil war, and that was because of the Biafran secessionist agenda, and the war finally came to an end in 1970. So with this, bearing these facts in mind, we have looked at the Igbo race and how they have been very, very a unique set of people that have been very much involved in trading, importation, exports, and the rest. But beyond all they have done, we have to also look at the issue of how we can work towards a thriving Nigerian rights. That's beyond ethnic barriers. So that's what we're looking at this morning. Wherever you are, we'd like you to send in your comments, your contributions, And how do you think we as a nation can position our nation to be stronger? We'll just give you a brief background here. Say with the population and gross domestic product, that's our GDP, projected at 399 million people and $3.3 trillion by 2050. The gulf between the reality of Africa's largest economy and its undisputed potential remains wide but achievable. From the report given by the Vice President Yemi Osinbanjo in January 2019, he said, indeed, our major task has been to systematically implement strategies that will deliver the future we wish to see. So with ethnicity as a major factor to be considered in executing these economic goals of the nation, the question is, are we prepared to lay aside these differences and help the nation move forward economically and otherwise? So these are the things we are looking at, because we have it that even though the Igbo race have been very, very strategic in contributing to the national economy, but even with most of those commendations, a lot of analysts believe that if the Igbos can target their energies, their business energy to more of production, it will also go a long way, and it will help to give the nation more in terms of the federal income that will be coming into the nation. So let's just give you more background information with what we've already told you, that the past 3.5 years have been very challenging for the nation, both home and abroad. Commodity prices, both oil and non-oil, have been very volatile. Global trends, be it in the security, trade, or politics, have also been very unpredictable. In Nigeria, apart from the COVID-19 pandemic and the resultant effect, the country has had to cope with disruptions in oil production and exports. Security challenges are also there, then with devastating natural disasters like flood and erosion being a major issue when it comes to natural disasters in Nigeria. So the Buhari administration believes that because they have been able to weather most of these storms and they have made progress on many fronts, which is why there is need to be optimistic about the future. So fine, we are optimistic about the future, but we say that though the government is doing a lot to diversify and grow a productive and competitive economy with far fewer resources, a lot more needs to be done in building a more inclusive nation where everyone is contributing to the national agenda of economic growth and development. So we said that some of the factors to be considered in achieving this reality includes, number one, we said putting aside ethnic considerations in economic resource allocations. In other words, we want a situation whereby if there is a man or woman out there that has what it takes to set up a thriving factory or industry, you don't have to bring in ethnic consideration in giving maybe the necessary requirements like the land or whatever it is that that person needs. The person can set up his factory or industry in any part of the nation and be sure that his or her investment is protected, and there is no cause for maybe tomorrow when there are some maybe ethnic disagreements, some people will go burn down the factory or whatever that is. So, and in resource allocation, talking about the people that man different offices, it should be done on the basis of who deserves the job, not based on where are you from in Nigeria. So this is a matter that must be given all the utmost consideration from the federal, the state level, and even the local government level. Then the next point is reducing importation and addressing the local content challenge. We talked about the fact that a lot of times, just like we talked about the Igbos, that they have been very, very strong when it comes to importation. They go out there to China, to different places, import different products. And when they bring these things in, they sell them, they make their profits, and they go again. But they don't really invest in setting up industries. And this has been like a major bane to our economy. So the question is, can they do much more in setting up industries, or is a profit margin not good enough? Or like we said earlier, if they set up industries, they are not sure of how these industries or factories can be well protected beyond ethnic sentiments and whatever may come up in the future. So we are looking at all of this. Then we also have that investing more in an economy that is based on production. So just like we are saying, in the West, we have quite a number of factories and some industries that are into manufacturing. So, but the question is, how many companies are actually manufacturing? A lot of them are just based on import and sell. But the manufacturing indices is still very, very low. And for us to employ more people and take care of boosting the economy on every side, we need to put more effort, deliberate effort into setting up industries, manufacturing industries that can also help the local content, to boost the local content for our nation, Nigeria. So these are some of the areas we are looking at this morning. We'd like you to send in your thoughts, your opinions, and let us talk, because we have a nation that, even though has been having challenges with recession, we have been able to avoid recession. But even with that, the issue of what do you call it now? The dollar to the naira is still a major issue, because our production level is low. Then Nigeria, whose economy has recovered from recession and have had 6 quarters of growth. Just a second, we have a call coming in.
Disconnected. Bluetooth connected successfully.
Okay, I think there's an issue there. So while we sort that out, that Nigeria, whose economy has recovered from recession and have had 6 quarters of growth. Just a second.
Hello.
Hello, good morning.
Good morning.
You are welcome to Blossom Nigeria. This is Barrister Prince Solomagbodo. Hello.
Hello, I can hear you.
Okay, I said this is our in-house analyst, Barrister Prince Solomagbodo.
Oh, thank you.
Okay, are you you are definitely the one, because we have heard your voice. But how are you doing?
Hello.
Hello, can you hear me?
I can hear you now.
Okay, so what we are talking about, how to improve the nation's economy, make it thrive, and also help to position us for more. But when we also look at some of the ethnic divisions within the country, and how even resource allocation is not done according to merit, but rather on maybe which part of the country are you from. And a lot of these considerations have made most people to base on maybe importation, just importation, import and sell, and it's not helping the country's resources at all. So what exactly do you think the country, or rather the government, needs to do right now to position the economy for a more thriving, a more productive sector?
Well, for me, the issue of ethnicity and regionalism in Nigeria has created more problems than it has solved. I know the argument is out there that we must not lose sight of our heritage, and we must not lose sight of where we come from. Beautiful arguments. I am not one to advocate that the African heritage, or the heritage that is bestowed on us by our tribes, should be done away with. But a line should be drawn where that ethnicity, where that heritage is clouding our judgments in terms of our nation.
Okay.
When it comes to issues of our nation, we should learn that we have to look beyond our tribes. We have to look beyond the regions we come from, and to realize that the only way our nation moves forward is if we do leadership by merit. That is a meritocracy,
okay,
not regionalism or tribalism as we are currently practicing.
Okay.
So, in effect, what I am saying is that, excuse me, we need to lose sight of our tribes when it comes to the national issue for us to progress as a nation.
Okay. All right. Now, we have been talking about resource allocation. Do you think Nigeria has gotten to that level where, and let's use the Igbo for an instance, the Igbo man can comfortably go to the north and set up an industry that can employ several in that region without having this maybe initial fear that is he sure that this industry will do well? And even if it's doing well, if there's maybe an ethnic conflict in the future, will that industry be preserved? So some of these issues are still on ground. How do you think we can tackle them?
Like I stated, the only way that we must look beyond this is to begin to see our neighbor as Nigerians. I think when we look at our neighbor, we should see a Nigerian man, not an Igbo man, or an Hausa man, or a Yoruba man. But in Nigeria, what we are seeing is that we see the tribe first. In conversations, when a Nigerian man meets another Nigerian man and he asks, "What's your name?" And for example, he says, "My name is Samuel." The next question that comes out is, "Where are you from?" Now, what that question serves to establish is that the question serves to establish that person within a certain subset or within a certain framework, a certain mindset in the mind of the asker of that question. When you ask, "Where are you from?" and you say, for example, "I am Yoruba," or "I'm Hausa," or "I'm Joe," or whatever it is, that person has immediately situated you within a particular window in his mind, within a particular room in his mind. So the question of when someone goes outside his tribal enclave or his region to establish a business and the likely threats that may come to that business from these same issues of ethnicity and all of that, it is because we have not really looked ourselves in the face and told ourselves the truth. Because when the Igbo man suffers in Hausa land, or the Hausa man suffers in Yoruba land, or the Yoruba man suffers in Igbo land, what happens is that to each of these victims, they want to be treated fairly in the other man's region, but they do not want to treat that other person fairly in his region. I will give you an example. Let's take the issue of states and government. It is only the state government of Lagos State, that has been able to rise above primordial sentiments, above ethnic sentiments, to say that, oh, we can appoint a non-Yoruba person to become a commissioner in this state, or we can appoint a non-Yoruba person to sensitive positions in this state. Look across the 36 states of the Federation. No other state has been able to do that. It goes to the extent that even in sister states like Cross River and Akwa Ibom, where last year the person that the judge of the Cross River State Judiciary that was in line to succeed as the chief judge of that state, the State House of Assembly rose up against her just because she is from Akwa Ibom State, even though she's married to a Cross Riverian. And they stopped her appointment even after the National Judicial Council, the NJC, had approved the appointment. Now, that in a nutshell tells you where we are as a nation. We cannot expect fair treatment from the other tribes where we ourselves refuse to give out that fair treatment. Ask the people that are complaining about being treated unfairly. How exactly do they treat people in their own regions? People in universities, people from different regions want to go to other regions and, for example, contest elections to become student union president and all of that. But when you go back to their home states, they are not able to do that. So my take is that before we complain about how the other man is treating us, we must first of all cleanse our own stables. We must first of all come home and ensure that we are treating others fairly. Because it is when we brighten our little corner that the light can shine to the other people. So let's not practice equity or equality by mere words. Let us ensure that, first of all, the charity begins in our homes. So before, yes.
Now, Barrister, you have a very strong point, or rather points that you have laid out for us this morning, but we still need to look at the solution, because this challenges have been they've been with the nation for a long time. So, but do you think that the government...
Can you come again? I didn't get that.
I said you have given us some very strong points to consider.
Yes.
But in looking at the solution, because we know that these are issues that have been on ground for a very, very long time. So if we are to look at maybe some practical solutions within the shortest possible time, what do you think the government should do at this stage? Or are you to address the Nigerian, as in the individuals, to have a change of mindset, or whatever it is you think? What should be the way forward in this?
I think that the change or the solution to this issue, this logjam, cannot come from government. Government can only do so much. The change must come from the individual level and from the regional level. So what I'm trying to say is that when you look at our constitution contains several provisions that state that give out the inalienable right to Nigerian citizens to be able to have the freedom to move and to settle down and to have businesses in any region of this country that they so wish. But in practice, how is this being carried out? In practice, this thing is being carried out in the breach. What I'm trying to say is that on the individual level, on the unique level of the states and the regions, we are not doing that. So is it the government that is coming to come down to our offices, for example, or to come down to our businesses to tell us how to treat our fellow Nigerians? The government can do a whole lot more with the National Orientation Agency to try to orientate the minds of Nigerians to see every Nigerian as one, and without us seeing people through the eyes of the tribe. But I sincerely believe that the individual must also do a whole lot. And again, we must also be in a situation where if we see this practice, for example, being done by our colleague against another person, we should be able to speak out against it. Because it is only when we are able to speak out against practices like this that we can actually effect the change. If you go to Twitter or you go to the cyberspace of Nigerian newspapers and all of that, you see, let's say there are issues. A criminal was apprehended, let's say for fraud, and the person was displayed by the police. When you go to the comments of those newspapers, you will see that, in essence, the people ignore the fact of the crime that has been committed. But they only see their tribes. The Yorubas gang up against Igbos, the Igbos gang up against the Yorubas, and vice versa. And at the end of the day, the main issue is left alone. Why they keep on flinging tribal slurs and tribal insults at each other. That is actually a microcosm of how the Nigerian society operates. A society where we have left the larger issue of our Nigerianness, that we are only seeing ourselves in terms of tribes and regions. So the government, like I said, government can only do so much. But this change must come out from an individual state and regional level.
Okay. All right. Thank you so much, Barrister, for calling in. We appreciate, and we've gotten most of the main points that you have given to us this morning. Thank you so much. Thank you.
You're welcome. It's a pleasure.
All right. We have a very strong, we'll call them words of counsel. We'll call them different, but whatever it is that you can make out of what the barrister has said is very key, because we can't operate effectively if we keep giving too much considerations to ethnicity. Where is he from, or where is she from? It's not going to help, and a lot has to be done to improve our economy. And like we said earlier, having to base on maybe a tribe, basing on a type of business that they believe will only help them because they are not too sure of their security or the security of their companies or industries in the other man's region, will not help. So we have to lay all aside. So we have some comments here talking about all that we have said this morning. Then let's just take this from Grace Emmanuel before we round off. She says, in my opinion, we must move forward as a country, then we must eliminate the ethnicity mindset. I am a Nigerian. Consciousness should be instilled in every Nigerian. Most citizens pledge allegiance to their state and local government and not to the country. So my fellow Nigerians, we can do better. So this is from Grace Emmanuel. So everyone has a role to play. We need to change our mindset. We need to renew our mindset. And the fact that we have people who have the needed credentials and what it takes to run the economy effectively, we should give these people the chance that they need. We shouldn't quench their zeal because they are from a particular, maybe a particular tribe or ethnic race in the country. So wherever we are, make up your mind that in this, and even in working towards the future, we are not talking about a particular administration, not just the Buhari administration, but we are talking about something that every one of us should start working on more and more. And with that mindset, our companies, our economy will thrive better, and much more can be achieved in production, not just importation, which has been the bane of our economy. So we'll look more into this because of time, but like as we have said, everybody start working on it with immediate effect. So as we'll talk more tomorrow, we hope you'll be with us, and let's talk our nation in the right direction. Thank you so much for being with us. I am Blossom. Okay, I think another call is coming in, but because of time, we'll need to take this tomorrow. So let's just... So as I was saying, we are rounding off now. So tomorrow we'll continue with this. I am Blossom, and we are talking our nation in the right direction. I believe in the Nigerian dream. Have a beautiful day.